I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be lack of self-control. Well, I've got 3 different emails that I'm going to go through here. The first 2 guys kind of went off the rails a little bit, but the last one did a pretty good job of maintaining his composure. So before we get into these emails, I got a quote I want to share with you. And it says, when we are in a fearful state and afraid of an undesirable outcome, we often will take some action that deep down we know is not going to get us the desired results we want. Then, when things don't work out, we become upset with ourselves. This is a self-destructive pattern that reinforces the deep-seated belief that we don't deserve to have the life and lifestyle we really want. We tend to act in accordance with our beliefs about ourselves, no matter whether those beliefs are accurate or not. The next time you feel a sense of urgency to take some action while in a fearful state, it's best to walk away and leave that decision for another day until you are peaceful and relaxed again. Well, let's get into this first email. He says, "Hey Corey, I've been following you for a while now, and you've really helped me to improve my life in many aspects. So I thank you for that, and I've made a donation to your outstanding work." Donations are always appreciated, and if you'd like to make a donation because you appreciate the value of the videos and the articles on my website, you can do that by going to my website, and on the right-hand column of any page, just click the PayPal donate button and donate whatever you feel it's worth to you. He says, "I'm in a weird situation, and one that I just can't get my head around. I was dating a girl who I adore for 6 months, and we really just clicked on all cylinders. I used your coaching and she fell in love after about a month of dating. Nice job. So far, so good." He says, "Well, she broke it off with me about 5 months ago after I told her a couple of little white lies." Not a good way to go. He says, "Stupid, I know," in parentheses. He says, "And it pretty much crushed me for a while." He says, "Now since then, I've dated numerous women, but I haven't found the connection I shared with this one." That's why it's so important to practice the things that I teach, because you never know when you're going to meet that great girl. If you're a guy that's new, or a girl for that matter, that's new to my work, the idea, especially like if you're trying to develop your social skills, is you want to get in the habit of talking to people wherever you go and being friendly to everyone everywhere you go, and just talking about anything and everything based upon the environment that you have to be in, or happen to be in, I should say. That way when you turn around and there's someone that totally knocks your socks off, you don't just freeze up and create an awkward situation, and where there was an attraction and a good vibe going, after a few minutes the girl gets kind of repulsed and feels that there's something weird there and she walks away. I get emails like that all the time from guys that they don't practice, they don't listen to me when I tell them to do that, and then they meet a girl and they just freeze up and they totally blow it, and then they're kicking themselves in the ass for the next couple of weeks or couple of months after that, because it's very rare when you meet somebody that really knocks your socks off, and you can tell when the way they look at you in the eyes that they're feeling the same way. Those are special moments. It's just like what Confucius said: success depends upon prior preparation, and without said preparation, there is sure to be failure. He says, "Here's the weird part. Ever since she broke it off, she keeps initiating contact with me. I mean, every week or two, she sends me a text or calls me up, and once a month or so, she asks to meet for drinks or whatever. I've tried everything in the book. Well, here's the deal. Whenever she reaches out to you, when any woman for that matter calls you or texts you, you should assume that she wants to see you. Make a date, hang out, have fun, and hook up, and keep it really simple." See, guys, they get all wrapped up in their head, like, what does this mean? What do emotions mean? All this other fucking BS. It doesn't mean anything. The point being, if she's reaching out to you, make a date, then get off the phone. The more you talk on the phone, the more you send texts back and forth, or Facebook messages, or emails, the higher the likelihood is that it's going to go nowhere, and you're just going to be frustrated. He says, "I've tried everything in the book. I played hard to get, made my feelings known, backed off, ignored, and even super flirting. Nothing. All I've gotten a couple weeks ago was a quick kiss on the lips. What I would do is when she reaches out, just say, hey, instead of going out and going through this whole production, because at the end of the day, she ditched your ass. So the simple way is like, you know what, I'm not going to go out of my way for this girl. I'd love to hang out with her, and I'd love to hook up with her again. That should be the mindset. And so when she reaches out to you next, you should just say, Hey, great to hear from you. I'd love to see you. Why don't you grab a bottle of wine and come on over to my house and we'll make dinner together. When are you free to get together? Let her tell you that and make definite plans. If she says, oh, I'd really like to go to dinner, I'd like to go to lunch, I'd like to meet out for coffee, or I'd really like to chat with you on the phone, just say, hey, I'm just in the mood to hang this week. I'm not interested in going out some big production and dinner and date and all this kind of stuff. I'm just in the mood to hang. So if you'd like to do that, great. Let me know when you're free. If not, we'll do it some other time. It's really important when a woman doesn't want to go along or she is offering you resistance that you do the takeaway. In other words, unless she wants to come over and hang out at your place and bring a bottle over of wine, because this was a former girlfriend of yours, so obviously she's been to your house many times. If she's unwilling to do that, withdraw the offer and walk away. And that's really tough for a lot of guys because they're thinking, God, she called me, oh my God, okay, I'll meet you out. And then this is what happens. You just end up going around in circles and you never get anywhere. Other than after a couple of months of this, he got a kiss in the cheek a couple weeks ago, or a quick kiss. Woo, that's just great. Imagine the bad case of boo balls he's got right now. He says, I know she's dating, but I can't help but think that she still has something for me. Yeah, because you're not being direct and you're not going for what you want. You're not standing up for yourself. You're getting too involved in the drama of chit-chatting on the phone and talking instead of just making dates, assuming she wants to see you and making a definite date. And you got to have the balls, especially when you've displayed weakness to the point where she dumped you. If you don't stand up to her and withdraw the offer when she tries to have you go along with what she wants, she's just going to cancel, and that's what you're going to get. You're going to get that kind of a weak, lukewarm response that's not going to go anywhere. But like I said, in this situation, what I would do is tell her to grab a bottle of wine or champagne or coffee or tea, whatever the hell it is you have to drink. It doesn't have to be alcohol. And come on over, and you'll make dinner. When are you free to get together? And if she won't tell you when she's free, tell her to figure out her schedule and get back to you. And you got to let her go. You can't start texting or calling her a week or two later when you haven't heard from her, which is what a lot of guys do because they're so fearful of losing her. But you've already lost her. She dumped you. It's like, hello? He said, because she's initiating 90% of the time. Well, you shouldn't be initiating at all. She broke up with you. She ditched you. Think about it. When you text her and when you reach out to her, you're just in essence acquiescing to her demands to put you in friend zone. Why would you chase somebody who ditches you? Think about it. You want to spend your time with somebody who appreciates you and wants to be with you. And unless they're willing to hang out with you, unless they're willing to make the effort, nothing's ever going to happen. No amount of you chasing or pursuing is going to make her want you back. That's why you should do nothing. You should let her do 100% of the initiating. And that is a part of your problem at this point. When you've been broken up with a girl or she's ditched you, you have to wait for her to come back to you. But when you start, even if it only, like this particular guy says, only 10% of the time he's initiating, that's why you're like a dog chasing his tail. You're not getting anywhere. Because you, in essence, obviously told her you're not interested in just being friends, and then you continue to call her and text her. That's why you're getting nowhere. He says, every time I'm willing to walk away, but she keeps reaching out. And see, another thing is, she starts reaching out again, and the guys think, oh, okay, great, now I can start chasing her again. And they go right back to their old ways, and they don't get anywhere. I learned this the hard way, and it was a motherfucker, but I learned my lesson. That's why you have to let these women come to you that have ditched you and dumped you or blown you off or that you screwed up with. You can't reach out at all. I'm talking 100% of the time. It must be initiated by them because they have to think it's their idea. If you let her reach out to you, you get right to the point and make definite plans. If she's unwilling to do that, you withdraw the offer. He says it's frustrating. You think? He says, because I really can't figure out what she wants. She wants you to be a fucking man and be congruent with your words and stop. Just because she calls you one time doesn't mean you start blowing up her phone again. That shit only works in the movies. It doesn't work in real life. He says, I'm 42 and she's 28. Age was a factor for her at first. Obviously it wasn't because she still became your girlfriend. He says, but then she quickly overcame it and saw that it wasn't going to be a problem. If you don't see it as a problem, it won't be a problem for her. Beautiful younger women date older guys all the fucking time. He says, I don't know what to do at this point. I'm dating a couple of women. One is long distance and I'm going to see her this weekend. But I can't help my feelings for this girl. Should I just ignore her? What is that going to do? He says, should I just flaunt these other women? It's like, come on, man. He says, I'm not sure where to go with this. Well, I pretty much have told you about 10 different ways of what you need to do. Stick to that Stop pursuing her. I mean, 100% of the initiating needs to be done by her. When she reaches out, assume she wants to see you. Make a definite date for her to come over to your place so you guys can make dinner together. And tell her to bring the drinks. Or whatever, whether it's alcohol or bottle of champagne or tea or coffee, whatever it is, espresso, whatever you guys are going to drink. That's the proper way to handle that. And the problem is, you're not exercising self-control. And I know you've heard me say these things before, but it's like here's the next guy. Let's get into his email. This is a guy I had a phone session with. And we spent an hour on the phone of me going over and over and over telling him what to do. And he's like, all right, I got it, no problem. I'm ready to make it happen. And this is what happens. He says, hey, Corey, I spoke to you a few days ago about my problem. And I just wanted to let you know what happened. I followed your book to a T until we went out on our date. It's like everything went right out the window. He says she was looking fucking hot, but towered over me in her heels. First we went to a restaurant where we cooked our own food. That sounds like fun. He says we joked around, laughed, had a drink, and I took her sightseeing. So now you've gone 2 places. It's always great to go to 2 to 3 different things on a date because it kind of, you get in the car, you go somewhere, it kind of gives you the experience of like having 2 or 3 dates with you. And if most women tend to, on average, sleep with a guy after the 2nd or 3rd date, it really helps speed up the seduction process. It works like a charm. So he says, I let her do most of the talking, that's good, and answered the best I could. Even though we were having fun, I could already tell her interest was not there. There was a little bit of touching, but not too much. Well, when a woman starts touching you, it's your job to escalate it a little bit further. So I don't know why you're saying there's not too much interest. She wouldn't be touching you if she wasn't physically into you. He says, now listen to what he does. He said, it's like, come on, man. He says, the big mistake I did was not being patient, and I try to ask about being an item. And he puts in parentheses in big letters, stupid move. It's like, duh. It's like, you can't go out on a date with a girl and ask her to be your girlfriend. It doesn't work that way. You see that shit in the movies? It's like, it doesn't work that way in real life. It takes 2 months of solid dating, hanging out, having fun, and hooking up, where the guy starts the courtship by calling her once a week to go out for a date. Usually by the 2nd or the 3rd week, she'll start calling or texting a day or 2 after the last date. And when that happens, hey, I had a great time too. Hey, it's great to hear from you, or whatever. I'd love to see you again. When are you free to get together next? And now since she's initiating contact and you go right into setting the next date, it makes things really simple that way. And so as the weeks go by, she starts calling and texting you more and more, and so you get like week 5 or 6, and now you're going out maybe 3 times a week. And by that point, you won't even have to be initiating any contact with her because she's calling and texting you so much. That means she feels safe and comfortable with you. She reaches out to you. She puts herself into your orbit in essence. You make the date, and then you get off the phone. Hang out, have fun, hook up. That's all you have to do. But when you go out on a first date, I don't know how many dates this guy's been out with this girl, then you start saying, hey, let's be an item. It's like, she doesn't even know you yet, dude. It's like, come on, ask women that. Go ask 100 women what they think about when they go on a first or a second date with a guy and he talks about being in a relationship or her being his girlfriend. They'll all say the same thing. I don't know you yet. It's like way too soon. They'll all tell you that. He says, she told me she was going to wait until she was done with school, until she was 30 to be with someone. That's a bunch of BS. That's just her nice way of saying you're acting like a little girl, basically. A needy little insecure girl. And see, that's what it is. Women aren't going to come right out and tell you. They're trying to soften the blow. It's totally inappropriate to bring that topic up. He says, so I cut my losses and I said it was nice spending time with you, and when and if you change your mind, call me. He says, FYI, I know she's full of shit about the waiting thing. That's how women communicate. They don't want to hurt your feelings. But it's like, you're a dumbass. Sorry to say that. We talked for an hour, dude. It's like, I told you what to do and then you didn't listen to me. It's like, you know, you got to participate in your own rescue, man. You lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. He says, the next day she texted me good morning and how she had a great time and to not be discouraged by her being patient. Well, that's a good sign. Then all it means is like, hey, great to hear from you. I'd love to see you again. When are you free to get together? How many times did I say that on our phone session? And like, I'm saying it again. It's like, how many videos have you watched where I say that? It's like, and you still don't listen to me. And that it's not the end of the world. I mean, So he says, again, Corey, thank you for helping. On the next number I got before I went out there. Stop asking women to be your girlfriend. It's not your place. Until a woman brings that up first without you bringing up the topic, it's not going to happen. She's not emotionally in that place. It takes 2 months. Usually, if you follow everything right, it happens in week 7. That's the average. The guys that I coach that actually listen to what I tell them to do, that's when it happens. And the more you fuck up, the more you delay it. Maybe it takes you 3 months. Maybe it takes you 4 months. Maybe the girl is really into you and it happens after a month. It doesn't matter until she brings it up. Keep your mouth shut about that. Hang out, have fun, and hook up. So I got one final email here that let's get into. And the guy says, hey, Corey, I just wanted to let you know how dead on your work is. It's like, how many times you heard me say in a video, just don't believe a word I say. You can think I'm a jackass or whatever. Just apply what I teach. You will see that this shit works for you. He says, I've been in a relationship for 2 years and it wasn't going where I wanted it to. I went out on one date with a smoking hot brunette. I told my girlfriend that our relationship wasn't going where I wanted it to. Scared to death when she was scared to death when I said this, but I needed things to change or end. He says, my woman was mad for about 4 hours that I would go out with someone else. It's just amazing how it's like people want what they can't have. It's like she's lazy, she's complacent. Obviously, whatever you had done up until that point to not move things along, or maybe you would act weak. I don't know. Or maybe this is the whole reason why you came to my work, is because your relationship really wasn't going anywhere. So he says the next morning she was back to how she was when I met her, calling, texting, sending pictures. Because now she realizes if she doesn't value you and treat you with respect and love and make the effort, that you're gonna fucking replace her ass. No, I'm not saying to go out and start dating women when you're in a relationship, or date women if you're married. But obviously in this particular case, he's at the point like, hey, you know what? You're not making the effort. He probably told this girl that, and she probably still didn't listen to him. But at the end of the day, you know, maybe a few weeks from now, maybe a month or two from now, maybe she goes back to her old ways and she doesn't make the effort. So if I were you, I would keep that phone number of that other hot brunette. It's always nice to have good, super high quality backup, if you know, especially if you're dating a chick who's just not making the effort. There are women out there that are selfish and they're not very giving, and that's just the way they are. You're always going to be in a better position if you have options, if you know you have options. It just helps you do the right thing. It helps you maintain your emotional self-control. He says, she was telling me how she wanted to spend her life with me, blah, 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 etc. Well, actions speak louder than words. Just look what she does. And the next time you see it going sideways, just say, baby, I love you, but you're not making the effort again. You're acting like you don't give a shit. I'm telling you, if you don't cut this crap out, then it's going to be over between us. I'm dead serious about that. This ain't working for me. I shouldn't have to tell you these things. You should do them naturally. He says, I should have done this a long time ago. She knows now if if she's not good to me, that I will date someone else very easily. I love your videos and keep helping us dummies. I'm sure there are many like me that says this is not going to work and she's just going to hate me. Let me tell them that it's wrong, that they're wrong and it works, and now I'm back in control. As you should be. Women don't want the power in the relationship. He says all it took was one date with a hottie. Good job, man. Well, I'm happy for you. I'm happy things are working out. But like I said, keep the number of that hot brunette around as backup, just in case, this girl, your girlfriend, just doesn't get her shit together. Because you guys been together for 2 years, and it's obviously been like this for a while. But like I said, just stay aware. Look at her actions. It's nice. All those words, those flowery language about her. She wants to spend her life with you and blah, blah, blah. And when I talk to plenty of guys who get married, it's like as soon as the woman has a kid, it's like the sex stops, and it's like she totally focuses 100% on the child and totally ignores the dude. And the best thing you can do is like say, you got to have a heart-to-heart and say, look, you're not making the effort and I'm not happy. And if this doesn't change, it's not going to work out between us and I'm going to leave. And if she doesn't believe you, then go get yourself a hot brunette and move on your life, because you deserve to have somebody that loves you and appreciates you for you and who's grateful to be in your life, and vice versa. It takes two to make a relationship work. Not every woman that you're going to meet that's hot and beautiful and you have a good time with is good quality woman to have a long-term relationship with. And at the end of the day, when a relationship becomes stagnant, dull, and boring, and the other person's not really making the effort, maybe you're not really making the effort, it's okay to move on and meet somebody new. I mean, after all, a divorce rate's over 65% now. I mean, think about that. So if you'd like to get my help personally with a challenge or a situation you're having, maybe you want to figure out your purpose in life, maybe you want to change your career, maybe you want to start a business, maybe you're having problems in your relationship, or maybe you're not good at talking to women, or maybe dating tends to go sideways, maybe you want to lose 50 pounds. Quickest way to get my help is to go to my website, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and you can book a paid phone coaching session or Skype session with me if you're obviously outside of the U.S., or if you'd like to get my help right away through email, I've got an email coaching option also under the products tab, and just follow the instructions. And I will talk to you soon.